the same time, you're 18 years old. You have to understand, if you take the money out, you got to pay that shit back.
Okay, hold on. And this is the issue, and you made a very good point. Bro, at 18, I knew nothing. Like, and granted, me as an 18-year-old, I knew a little bit more than the average. I got a credit card. I made sure that I started building credit as soon as I could. Like, all those things. But how many of us actually know those things?
I mean, credit card stuff, no, but
the same idea,
simple concept of if you take out money, it is a loan.
Did they
you have
teach
to
you
pay
that in
it
school?
back. No, my parents taught me that.
Not everybody has good parents, man.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's not even the parenting. It is the simple concept. If you don't understand that you have to pay it back, bro, you shouldn't be going to college in the first place. Like, it is such a simple concept.
I understand what you're saying. You are, number one, you're a finance guy. Number two, you are a sharper dude. You have to understand that the average American, and I say this with as much respect as possible, is not that sharp.
Fair.
The average American has lived a very nice life in which they don't have to worry. Like, their parents never went over finances with them. You know what I mean? Like, they don't know stuff like that. Like, I have friends who just got credit cards this year at like in their late 20s, which is mind-boggling to me. But that's the thing. And the parents never talk to them about finances. Or the parents said things like, never get a credit card, never go for loans because it's predatory, right? You're going to get in trouble. Because they don't understand like terms of loans and things like that.
Yeah. I definitely had conversations where like me personally, I have tons of credit cards because I understand the game. Like,
yeah, you get points, and that's how we get to go on nice trips.
Yeah, exactly. So I understand how that works. You know, but a lot of times we'll be like, I mean, your credit must suck. I'm like, no, my credit's fire, like nigga. 800. Yeah. Like, because I understand how it works. But I mean, then that boils down to the conversation of the U.S. education system sucks. I mean, the fact that they don't have some type of simple, basic personal finance class of how to balance a budget.
Remember, were we in the same class for economics senior year?
You have
that lady
Bethune.
Yeah.
I had her. I don't know if we were in the same actual class.
But I think she's the only one who taught it.
There was one, Jocham, I think.
I had Bethune.
Okay.
But I think she taught different times. I don't remember anything from it. I've taken economics 3 or 4 times in my educational career. Mm-hmm. I understand economics from a basic principle of like, you have, I want, I have, you want.
Supply and demand.
Like supply and demand. Like, I get it. The graphs and shit, it's over my head. Both my parents did economics undergrad. It's not for me. I understand economics on a palpable sense, like being a human being, want, supply, demand, need, how to kind of gauge things. I understand that part. I would have rather taken a class that taught me how to balance a checkbook. As dumb as it seems, I think it's still a skill that just know how money ingress and egress, right? How loans work, how important credit is, how to set yourself, like, fuck economics. You don't need to know economics if you don't know the base of what economics is, right? Yeah. Like, personal finance is a course that I think way more important.
I mean, because if you're not doing business, I mean, I did business, and I mean, supply and demand, kind of basic intro.
It's basic.
Economics, like, fine, that's fine. But I was taking like these more advanced stuff of like historical, economics.
You're like, why do I need to know that?
Those classes
it's hard as shit,
so
bro.
hard. Like, I think I got like 70s on the test. Luckily, they curved them up.
Bro, economics is hard.
Yeah, like,
man.
You got all these graphs and understanding, like, So, but whatever. Yeah, I think a personal finance class would be super relevant, important.
Way more important.
Yeah, because then it comes down to understanding of, you take out 20 grand for college, it's going to accumulate interest.
I wish it was just 20 grand.
Yeah, I mean, so for me, I took out loans, but because I didn't have credit, because my parents not fantastic with that kind of stuff, I had student loans. My interest rate was 12%.
Jesus,
by the time I graduated, the interest is more than the principal value of the loan. But what did I do?
You
I understand.
It.
Refi. No, a lot of times people don't even know you can consolidate your loans into a personal loan. It's just, again, comes down to the education. That saved me literally thousands of dollars.
So can you explain really quickly, because I mean, I might need some of this. I understand it to a degree. Is all my loans are federal student loans.
Okay, yeah. So it's different than a private loan.
Which is kind of, okay, this is what I will give the federal government, which is kind of nice, is having federal student loans, they give you a lot of repayment options.
Yeah.
So like a repayment option for me is I can make it 10 to 20% of my income, right? Which is nice, but it's still 10 to 20% of the money I took out, right? I think what's really good about the federal student loan program is you can defer as much as you need to. I think that they have a good grasp that this shit is really an albatross on people's necks.
Yeah.
But back to your point, I really, really think, and maybe you should do this and have a whole fucking YouTube channel of your own where you teach people personal finance.
I have to get that cleared by compliance, and they're gonna say no.
That's true. That's true. Because personal finance is something like, bro, we're going on a tangent here, but I think we should talk about this right now. I had a video with my cousin, Andrew, and we were like, buying a home is one of the fastest ways to wealth. Right. And someone in the comments was like, that's dumb. You just need to work really hard. And what'd he say? Like,
so, I mean, basically, I understood what he was kind of saying. He was saying basically that people aren't good at budgeting. So he thinks that people are going to extend their budget to go and buy a home. My thing was like, the money that you're paying in rent month to month, that's an expense. You're not building any equity, and you're not getting any appreciation in real estate.
Explain equity. I don't think people understand what equity is. Explain equity.
So the value of your home. You take out a loan. Normally you put some money down, so it's equity. As you pay money in, you're paying off the principal value of the loan. You're paying off the interest.
Yeah.
The way that the amortization schedule works for your loan for a mortgage is you're paying off a lot of the interest first, and then towards the end.
So amortization is kind of a payment over time.
Yeah, payment over
You're using big words that I don't think people understand. Amortization is payment over time. So basically what it does is when you have a loan, because the bank wants to get their money first, they build in a lot of the interest costs in the front end.
Yep.
So you're paying a lot of interest off. And then towards the end, when you've paid the interest, you're going to pay the actual principal.
Way more into the principal. Yeah. So, I mean, it is 30 years. A lot of times people aren't paying off a 30-year. They'll probably move by the time. But even if you say, you buy a $200,000 home, you put 5% down. So, you put down 10 grand.
Yeah.
And then you're paying over, say 5 years. You've probably built it, I don't know, 25, 30 grand maybe worth of equity in the home. So that's your value. That is stored value that you have in your home.
So equity is basically
ownership. Equity is ownership.
So equity is basically you bought a $200,000 house. You've paid how much money into it? You said
I'll say 30 grand.
That is $30,000 that belongs to you
of the original value of the loan. But you got to think real estate prices appreciate, right? They go up.
So basically what you're saying, let me try to put into what I understand is I bought my house at $200,000. I've paid $30,000 of that $200,000. My house is now it's still worth $200,000 when I go to sell it.
I mean, then you have $30,000. But realistically, if you're really depends.
But let's do
on
it
the
simple.
too.
But simple, right? Okay. Just like that.
Yeah.
I bought my house at $200,000. 10 years later, my house is still $200,000. I've paid $30,000 into it. I sell it for $200,000. Theoretically, if you don't account for interest, that $200,000 I sold it for should be able to pay for that loan, whatever's remaining, right? I'm not getting I know the math, and I can do it on paper, but I can't do it out loud.
Well, it depends on what you're trying to do. If you're going to another home, basically you just use a loan to pay off that loan, and then you can use the money that you've built in if you have any profit. Otherwise,
I want you to explain how people make money. I don't think people understand and it's tricky. And I think that's why people don't like science, people don't like finances. It's not very clear and thought out. So I want you to explain how people make money
on real estate.
Just in general, like how my home appreciates, how I've lived in this house with my family for 15 years, right? When we bought this house, I think it was like $190,200. This house is worth $330,000 now.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So can you explain to them how, like, if my parents wanted to pay the house off, where they would actually have made money off of this home?
I mean, so if they took out a loan for when they bought it for 180 grand, let's say we'll use simplistic numbers, $200,000, and they've paid into it for 15 years. Let's say they're 50% of the way through the loan. Just to keep math simple. So they have $100,000 worth of equity in there. However, it is now worth $400,000.
Yes.
You have a $200,000 gain.
Yes.
And so you now have the equity of the home plus the appreciation.
Which is, so you have $200,000 in appreciation, and then you have $100,000 in equity.
So $300,000.
Okay.
And luckily, taxes on appreciation of home for primary residents are very favorable. You won't have to pay any money on the gains.
Okay.
Assuming you go and rotate into like another home.
Let's say we don't. Let's say my parents pack up shop and they move back to Ghana.
Okay. Then that's different because we're moving to another country. So you'd be like an expat kind of thing. I don't know.
All I'm talking about is the money part. Like the money part. So they have $100,000 in equity. There was a gain of $200,000 because the house is worth $400,000 now.
They'd have like $300 grand and they pay all the fees and.
So now when they've sold the house for $400,000, how much money of that $400,000 do they have to take to pay off the rest of the loan? just 100,000.
What they owe. Yeah.
Which is 100. They have to take of that $400,000. They have to take $100,000 to pay off the loan. Because they already paid off $100,000 of it, so they're just paying off the remaining $100,000
that they owed.
They owed. So without fees and everything, let's not get it confusing. Theoretically, they're up $300,000.
Well, they'd have to pay off the remaining loan.
No,
which would be $100,000.
They sold the house for $400,000.
Yeah, but there's a loan for $100,000.
Yeah, so then
and they have $300,000. Oh wait.
Yeah, they sold the house for $400,000. Yeah. They paid equity $100,000 into it.
Yeah, the money isn't. They don't like have additional like that value stored in that $400,000.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I might be getting confusing, but I want it to be clear. $200,000 house. You've paid $100,000 of it off. Mm-hmm. You have $100,000 of it left to pay.
Yeah.
The house now is worth $400,000. Mm-hmm.
You so $100,000 of that $400,000
is gonna pay the loan.
I mean, you basically just either way you want to swing it. However you want to pay it off. You have a $200,000 gain because the home is worth.
You have a $200,000 gain plus $100,000 in equity that you.
Yeah, but you have to pay off the remaining value of the original loan, which is $100,000. Okay. So net $200K. So you're not selling something for $400,000, and you don't also have another $100,000 worth of equity. Like
that You're saying that $100,000. So okay, so that $100,000 worth of equity, what is it? I think you need to describe that a little bit better.
Is ownership in your home, so you don't have to pay off the loan. So if you continue paying off, your 30-year mortgage, you have full ownership in the home.